Chapter 7. Invitation from the Planetary Tower. A fateful choice. Right after his first victory, Kael was summoned to the Planetary Tower, the central command nexus for all planetary-level AstraBall operations. It pierced the sky, reaching the clouds, sheathed in energy glass that reflected the constellations above. Harkon said just one sentence before departing. Once you enter, you are no longer a child, you are part of destiny. In the vast central hall, Kael encountered three figures in black cloaks, the celestial overseers. One of them placed a star map on the table. Kael, you have been chosen, the overseer spoke. One of the 7 pillars, warriors who carry Astra's hope against the eternal darkness. Before Kael could speak, a projection began to play, a massive nebula collapsing, devouring an entire frontier planet. The eternal darkness, an ancient force, has returned. AstraBall is no longer a game, it is war. 3 choices were placed before Kael: join the central forces, become a free warrior, or refuse and walk away forever. Kael looked at the map, where his 3rd star mark pulsed with light. A new will stirred within him, not for glory, but for those he'd left behind. Clenching the orb, he said, I choose to stay. I choose Astra. A radiant light enveloped him. The skies above the tower turned crimson, signaling that a new pillar had awakened. From that moment, Kael's fate was no longer his alone. It became part of Astra's living history. Chapter 8. Star Crystal, the God of Shadow's secret. From the planetary tower, Kael was transported to a low-orbit space station circling Astra. This was the resting place of the Star Crystal, the first relic discovered during the Age of Awakening. Legends claimed it held fragments of memory from the god who birthed AstraBall. Kael was escorted by a special operations unit led by Officer Lyra. Cold and stern, her eyes tracked Kael like a newly forged weapon. Don't mistake this for a reward, she warned. This is your real first trial. The star crystal sat within a vacuum chamber at the station's heart. But the moment Kael entered, his orb flared uncontrollably. The walls trembled. Automated systems blared. Ancient energy surge detected. Residual traces of eternal darkness present. A vague entity emerged. A faceless giant in a black cloak, eyes glowing red like frozen blood. No one but Kael could see it. Its voice slithered like wind over rusted metal. You carry the seed of fire, but also the fracture of fate. Kael shouted, unleashing his phoenix flame kick, but the fire passed through as if striking smoke. The star crystal reacted, absorbing the flame and projecting hundreds of visions. Ancient wars, fallen gods, and 7 warriors, the pillars, standing against a black storm. Then it vanished. Kael collapsed, soaked in sweat. Lyra rushed in, weapon drawn, but the room was back to normal. That night, in his private quarters, Kael stared at his 3rd star mark. A soft glow pulsed from it, revealing cryptic symbols, a divine message encoded in starlight. 7 stars, 1 destiny. The darkness will rise from the heart of light. Kael understood. The destiny he chose wasn't just about battle. It was about unlocking a mystery buried for millennia. And there was no turning back. Chapter 9. Planet Titan, the deadly friendly match. A week after the Star Crystal incident, Kael received orders to head to Planet Titan, the site of the Intersector-friendly tournament, gathering newly chosen pillars from across Astra's systems. Titan was a colossal world, with drifting tectonic plates, shifting weather, and unstable gravity, a perfect crucible for testing strength. Accompanying Kael were Lyra and 2 teammates, Ren, a wind-type warrior, and Dox, an earth-type goalkeeper. All 3 had earned their places through brutal trials. Yet the tension was thick. No one spoke more than a few words during the 12-hour flight. The Titan Stadium defied belief. Built atop a slumbering ancient creature, its field was reinforced hide, and millions of spectators across the galaxy watched via telescope feeds and live streams. Their opponents, Team Alpha from Vega Prime. Leading them was Zarek, a lightning-type pillar known as Soul-Cleaving Thunder. Alongside him were 3 others wielding mutated orbs, rare and dangerous. The match began as the ground trembled. No whistle, no ceremony. The auto-referee declared, the moment of truth begins. Kael took the first touch, blazing forward with Phoenix Flame kick, but Zarek countered with Electro Negation, a shockwave that paralyzed Kael for 2 seconds. In that instant, the orb was stolen. Ren dove in, slicing through defenders like a gust, and passed to Dox, who launched the orb like a meteor. But near the goal, a shadow clone appeared. A Mirage user from Vega Prime twisted Dox's aim. Score 1-0, Vega Prime. Kael clenched his jaw. His eyes burned red. The orb at his feet blazed, not pure flame, but laced with a mysterious violet hue. He recalled the entity's words, the fracture of fate. The orb surged with wild power. The match turned chaotic. Kael and Zarek clashed midfield, triggering an energy explosion that cracked the stadium. Automated referees tried to intervene, but their systems failed within the blast zone. The match was suspended, no winner declared. But news of Kael spread through Astra's networks. The first pillar to cause a friendly match to be halted by energy overflow. Back aboard the ship, Kael didn't feel triumphant. In the mirror, his eyes flickered red. Something else was awakening inside. And no one, not even Kael, knew yet. Was it a gift or a curse? Chapter 10, Forbidden Memories, The Corridor of Time. After the chaotic friendly match on Titan, Kael was summoned back to the planetary tower. Though he wasn't disciplined, he noticed the elders' gazes had changed, not of concern anymore, but of caution. Lyra led Kael to the deepest level of the tower, where one of the oldest secrets was kept, the Corridor of Time, a space created by ancient orbs, allowing access to one's own memories, or even the memories of others. "You've awakened something," Lyra said, placing her hand on the energy glass door. "And the only way to understand it is to go back to the root." Kael stepped inside. Instantly, the world dissolved. He found himself standing in a scorched field, among thousands of bodies in tattered uniforms. In the sky, a colossal black meteor fell slowly, but never reached the ground. A man appeared, tall, red-haired, with a blazing orb in hand. He looked at Kael with grief in his eyes. "My son," he said, "if you're seeing this memory, then the calamity is returning." Kael recognized him from an old photo his mother had hidden. His father, once a pillar seed, vanished during the Great Extinction 17 years ago. The man pointed at the meteor. "This isn't darkness. It's Astra's buried memory. The true threat is the one trying to rewrite it." Before Kael could speak, a deafening explosion pulled him into a vortex of light. He woke up in a hollow room of the planetary tower. Lyra stood silently, her eyes deeper than ever. "The next layer takes you into Astra's own memory, but not everyone returns." Kael wiped the blood from his nose. His body was weakening, but in his heart, a stubborn flame refused to go out. "Take me deeper," he said. "I want to know everything." The journey was no longer about a tournament. It had become a pursuit of truths erased from history. Chapter 11. Deep Memory Layer, The Birth of AstraBall. The gravity lift carried Kael to the deeper memory chamber, touched only by the ancient pillar seeds. There was no light, only swirling energy, like silent spirits drifting through eternity. A stone door creaked open. Kael entered the Hall of Time. Here, memories weren't just images, they were sensations. Shouts, blood, the clash of orbs against field, the wails of lost souls. Kael dropped to his knees as a massive memory storm hit, a war between two planets. When violence failed to end it, they created AstraBall. What began as a tool of peace became a ritual, then a battlefield of honor, and eventually a curse. He saw a woman, silver hair, eyes like meteors. She forged the first orb, carved from the core of a dying star. Her name was Elantra, the goddess of balance. She wasn't human. She was the embodiment of Astra's will. She looked at Kael. "You are part of the cycle, but you could be the one to end it." A spiral crack appeared in the center of the hall, the original symbol of AstraBall. From it burst 7 orb shards, each pulsing with a different element: fire, water, lightning, earth, wind, shadow, and light. Kael realized his orb was resonating with both fire and shadow. It was unheard of. No one had survived a dual resonance of opposing elements. Pain shot through Kael's body. Blood dripped from his nose, ears, even his eyes. Elantra offered no help, only one final message. When darkness comes from light, only a fire that chooses sacrifice can burn away the lies. Kael screamed as he was torn back to reality. In his hands, the orb had changed, half blazing with fire, half stained black like a bottomless abyss. And for the first time, Kael felt he might not be fully human anymore. Chapter 12, The Forgotten Squad, The Last Survivors. Kael awoke inside a training chamber, encircled by a ring of light. Sensors scanned his vitals, and the results stunned the tower's entire training council. Orb thermal output doubled, reflex speed up by 210%, and most dangerously, the dual element resonance remained stable. Kael and Lyra were summoned to the Star-Lord's council. This time, the elders did not hide their fear. A child linking two opposite elements was a sign of salvation or catastrophe. To test him, Kael was sent to Earth Station D, a rehabilitation ground for failed pillar seeds. Warriors who once stood tall, now fallen. A squad was assembled to train with him, legendary players, now reduced to remnants of their past. The captain was Garen, once a hero of the Astra Cup final 5 years ago, now a broken man after an orb burn. With him were Mira, a tactical genius exiled for defying the Venusian High Command, and the twins Juno and Rel, blazing fast, once accused of orb stat manipulation. Kael entered the training grounds. The others were cold at first, but silence turned to awe when he blocked 3 orbs with bare hands, then shattered an energy wall with a single kick. Garen nodded. We're not forgotten anymore. They trained like maniacs. No standard formations, no textbook plays, just instinct, rage, and a fragile hope for one final shot. That weekend, they faced the Saturn Youth Squad. First half, down 3-0. But in the second, Kael's team played like aliens. Orbs curled like galaxies. Passes moved at light speed. Coordination flashed like lightning. Final score 5-3, victory for the Rejects. After the match, Garen looked at Kael. You're the reason we're still alive. And from the ashes, a new team was born.